Hello and welcome to the third episode of 30 Minutes of Mayhem. I am your host, Michael Mayhew, and I am here with my co-hosts.
Nick from youtube.com/the Tic Tac Man. And joining me is the man who would have been co-host, but he took an arrow to the knee.
What's up, everybody? I'm Dale. And to my left is...
Reg. And to my right is...
Yeah, the cat from LA.
Wouldn't Dale be to your right if you were to Dale's left?
Oh, shit, that's right. Oh, okay. Well, whatever, we got the point across.
He would be...
The Gat.
The Gat. I like
I'm
it.
the motherfucking Gat, son.
Oh!
Yep.
I take a
That
Gat.
sounds like a legitimate rapper name.
Well, we're gonna see him in like 10 years. The Gat on like MTV
Gat.
or something.
It's gonna be the Gat on MTV. Look exactly like he does now.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Oh yeah, there you go. That was a good fucking insult. You call yourself a comment and fucking I can't.
No,
even talk.
that's just him jumping in the middle of it when he doesn't know what's going on.
Yeah, there you go. That's right. Mm-hmm.
20 years from now, Ryan may look no different, but I sure as hell will.
Yeah, you'll have fucking an orange jumpsuit on.
Fucking orange.
In fucking prison.
Yeah, in prison for being a goddamn rapist.
No,
Ryan.
Give him some credit.
Just kidding.
There you go.
Give him some credit, Ryan. He won't be in prison for rape. Okay.
Just kidnapping.
Just kidnapping, child endangerment,
All those type of charges.
Hang on. Speaking of
slaughter, because I didn't know there was one in the trunk and someone just slammed in the rear. I just didn't know.
Pretty much everything.
Speaking of child endangerment, Nick, why don't you share your greatest desire with everyone?
My greatest desire relates to the greatest fault of man, and that is I wish to bear a child one day from my vagina, but I don't have a vagina or a uterus, and it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking.
The funny thing about this is he's not kidding.
I'm not. It's one of those things in life that I want to experience because I know I'm never going to get the chance to experience it.
I can respect that.
You can respect that?
Yeah.
Somebody look up. It's actually somebody look it up. It's legitimately a
I'll look
thing.
it up.
So did you see a psychiatrist on this, or did you just come up with it and diagnose yourself with it?
It's just a feeling I've had. It's not something you need diagnosed for. I mean,
It's not a disease, Ryan. Jesus.
Oh, yeah.
it's a
Oh!
curiosity. I wonder how it would feel for a living being to explode out of my belly.
All right, just go out and break your legs, and that's how it's going to feel.
How do you?
I mean, my
Have you
sister...
experienced-
Well, no, I haven't experienced it, but I had family members that have, and that's what they say it's about.
It's about breaking legs.
The feeling.
The feeling of breaking legs is the equivalent to the feeling of childbirth.
I think it would hurt more than that.
Some
dude in Britain says that there's advance in medical technology that mean men can now have children.
Now you see, I know one person who's going through a sex change, and she's of the same blood type as me, and I was like, if I could just get that uterus, because she's not going to use it.
Oh.
Well, it says this one, it's techniques to implant an embryo in a man's abdomen, allowing him to carry it.
No, hang on real quick. Just thinking about this. Okay, Nick, say, she's going through the sex change. Say they remove her uterus, right?
Yeah.
And if you get it implanted into you, you want to keep your penis, correct?
I think I'd go the Futari route. I think I'd like to have both sets.
Right. So you could technically you could artificially inseminate yourself with yourself. Like you could, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like-
but technically it wouldn't be myself.
Exactly,
But
because
I
it would
get-
be
I
her.
get
It would be her uterus. So you would just jerk off into a syringe or whatever, and then you could inject it in your new orifice and
Yes,
impregnate
That puts a
yourself.
whole new meaning to incest
That puts
or
a whole,
inbred.
no, that puts a whole new meaning to go fuck yourself.
Yeah, basically
Pretty
that's just like masturbation, except that now you could actually like have a child with it.
Could you
I'm
imagine
gonna be a-
me as a
I'm
single
gonna be a
parent?
parent.
That'd be horrible.
Can you imagine?
Yeah, no.
Just
You'd be like-
during the process of conceiving, Mike just rolls in. What are you up to? And he just sees a cup and a turkey baster on my desk, and I'm just like, what do you think I'm up to?
Oh.
Dude, imagine how
That'd
that
be a bad
story's
day.
gonna be. It's like, oh, I'm gonna be a parent. Be like, oh yeah, well, who's the mother and father? Me.
I'm sure the WBC won't like this.
Well, what I'm thinking is, Nick, you could collect probably a good bit of money off the government.
Oh,
You could just keep impregnating
Oh
yourself.
yeah,
oh yeah.
Best scam ever.
and just keep popping out babies and just live off the government and get.
That's what
paid.
drug addicts do.
I would, but at
That's
some
what a lot
point,
of people do.
I think if I had both sets, like that vag would expand to the point in which it would start impeding on my scrotum, so I'd start having scrotal tearing and shit like that. I think I'm gonna do
Oh
C-section
God, don't
all of
talk
them.
about that. Oh God, terrible images. Oh God.
You would pay child support to yourself.
That would suck.
They'd be like, okay, now what we want you to do is out of your paycheck of $200, we want you to take 150 of that $200 and pay it to the mother of this child. Okay, well,
But the bitch, she didn't birth it; it came out of me. Well, it's technically her eggs and her uterus.
right. She gets the sex change. She donates her uterus and her eggs and all that shit to you, and then you have to pay her child support, even though she doesn't even birth the fucking child. Or carry it.
I guarantee you that a judge would take that case on. I guarantee fucking it.
I don't doubt that at all.
I
don't
could see
blame
myself
me.
losing that case too. That's the sad part. I go to all this trouble to have a child, all of my own. I done lose the child and I got to pay the bitch child support,
Yeah, and she doesn't. She has a penis now.
even though I'll have both sets, so I'm not much better off. But
So no. This takes me into another question. Okay, so say that this current female goes through the sex change operation and was able to donate her uterus and ovaries and eggs and everything like that to you, and then you get that, you impregnate yourself, you have the child, and then the judge rules it makes you pay her, which is now a him, child support, even though he doesn't have the child. You still have the child, but is it technically he? How does the sex change operation from female to male work? Because I know if you're a male, they give you a vagina.
yeah, with the woman, they give them hormones, and then they also start taking the spongal material that the penis consists of and start culturing it somewhere else on the body, and then they implant it in the region, and they basically take the girl's clit and turn it into a penis.
Oh, I thought that's how it happened.
So basically, like China, the wrestler, like if you ever seen her Playboy spread,
She's got a
Oh
she's got
God.
a
she's
it's
got like
my
a mini
thumb.
penis. Yeah,
It's like my
Thank you
fucking
for
thumb.
reminding me of that.
You're
I
welcome.
actually got like 20 copies of that issue.
Of course you do, Nick.
So basically,
Of all people, I figured you would.
so basically, what she already has going on, they would basically give her hormones to enlarge that and inject some other stuff that would cause her to have a penis-shaped.
Clit,
Yeah,
and they'd also take the plumbing up through there.
and they take the plumbing up through there. So what do they do about the actual vaginal orifice? Do they like sew it shut?
Pretty much.
So now I don't know, like when you get circumcised, right? You have
Right.
the you have Ryan's just like right
I
circumcision.
remember it was
Okay, I'm
last
following
week.
you. No, but anyway, so you get the circumcision, right? When you have the more or less the scar marks on your junk from being circumcised, right? Now, and it follows down the balls, and I've heard plenty of jokes about, especially Family Guy when Chris says, good. I always thought it was two people sewn together, and it's a circumcision joke. Then you got the taint, between your balls and your ass. How far back do they take skin? You know what I'm saying? Like, basically, if your taint area is rough, that's more or less what a female that gets turned into a male, her vaginal orifice would turn into a taint, correct?
For the most part.
I would
Makes
think
sense.
so.
Yeah, because girls don't really have much of a taint. It's just like it's like a little piece there, so it's not that.
Depends on
What
how
an
big the bitch is.
intellectually stimulating
Well, yeah, for
conversation
sure.
we're
Depends on
having.
depends on how big she is, for sure.
Speaking of big bitches, Dale, how big is a female's orifice? Area between her two orifices? Because we know you like big women. So-
There's no off chance
there's-
of slipping into the wrong one.
No, there's a good amount of distance. Like you can,
Yeah, I do know because I have dated big women, but
Like there's no mistaking whatsoever. You
Never dated a big woman.
I've never dated anyone because nobody can put up with me. I'm
oh,
so alone.
Yeah, we definitely agree with that.
ever seen
Hey,
the little-
hey, we
you ever
felt
seen-
bad. We felt bad, and you had to be a cock.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You
I
ever
was
see the
just
little
throwing
meme
jokes,
dudes
yeah.
with the one
He's
with
not
like
sorry.
the face that's crying?
No,
Okay,
I'm not an emo dude.
Not,
he's not into dudes.
my bad.
Dale, calm down. He's not into dudes.
Yeah, Dale's over there blushing.
He's like, oh shit, I'm definitely going over there, and I want to meet Greg in person because we got something in common.
Papa
Oh,
Molly,
yeah.
I'm sweating. Oof.
Woo, boy.
Boy. I'm stopping in Ohio on the way over.
It's
I
gonna.
got to drive out to the West Coast, so Ohio's on the
Yeah,
way.
he's taking the long route.
That was a good one, right?
While we're here, while we're talking here, I actually got a question asked of me onto Facebook while we are recording this, and I want to read it out loud to you guys, and I want you guys to answer it. The question reads, "Hey, is it difficult to make a podcast?"
It can't be that hard.
I don't know. Honestly, like,
across-
that's all you,
we got
Mike, because
people
you're the one
across
that has to
states
set it up
talking
and
to each other on
everything.
a podcast.
There's a difference between making a podcast and making a good podcast.
Yeah, and this is like the second podcast I've been involved with. I'm involved with another one that another friend of mine from university does. So it's not really, well, of course, I don't actually make it. I just work on it, but I couldn't imagine it being that hard. I mean, you just record stuff and then you just edit it down to a manageable size and you just upload it to the internet, and that seems to be about it.
So now let's break it down.
I pretty much like with Nick. Like, there's a difference between a podcast and a good podcast. We just sign on to Skype and that's it. I mean, and then you have a mic and a headphone, whatever. It's more or less about the person who actually sets it up. You got to get people involved. Me, you guys, and even Ryan. We're all on different time zones. We got to all like set it up to where a time where it's good for everybody. And then of course they got to stick to their stick to the word for it. And then you got to have a good recording device and everything like that. Make sure everybody sounds good. So as far as difficulty, I don't really think so. But then again, I don't really know. I don't think it is.
Okay, Nick, what do you think?
I think it shouldn't be that hard. Depends if you're live streaming or not. It becomes a little bit more difficult to live stream, especially if you have errors or if the momentum dies. When you edit, you can really get it in there to be how you want it to be a little bit more effectively.
Ryan, what do you think?
I mean, just like Nick just said, it varies on the if you're live streaming or if you're recording and editing. It's pretty easy up to that fact. I mean, all you really gotta do is just record it. Everybody that's involved with it has to have a good mic and all that good stuff.
My answer is it entertaining? It's difficult to be entertaining. And if you're not naturally a dog that barks in the background while I'm giving my answer, it has to be entertaining. And if it's not entertaining, then it's difficult because no one's going to listen to you if there's not an entertainment value. And as far as the comment on what Nick said, is there's a difference between a podcast and a good podcast, and the difference is entertainment value. You can have a podcast. It's easy to make a podcast, but if it's not entertaining, it's not easy at the same time. Because I could go make a fucking podcast with whoever the fuck I wanted and talk and just not even plan it, not like Dale said, I gotta coordinate, I gotta set things up, I gotta make sure we gotta come up with topics, we gotta do this, we gotta do that. And we make sure that there is some entertainment value to it. But if I just said, all right guys, we're gonna meet on Skype and I just push record and we start talking, there's gonna be little entertainment value in that.
You have to have structure, definitely. You definitely have to have the topics set out, written. All right, this is what we're going to talk about in this section, that section, and this section. Yeah. You definitely have to have the structure inside of podcast. Yes.
The overall, if you were going to answer this question between combining all of our answers or coming up with one answer that speaks for all of us, what do you think the answer is?
No, it's not all that difficult, but it is difficult to create a good one. It's difficult to create something that people actually listen to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, for sure. You definitely have to have some kind of good structure to your stuff.
And at this time, for a second week in a row, I would like to welcome our guest, Scott, and second guest of this show, my fellow bandmate from the band As Dreams Fade. That's facebook.com/AsDreamsFadeOfficial, Cody Harmon.
All right, guys. This next topic's going to be, what do you think about the gun laws that Mr. President Obama is trying to get passed in Congress and the Senate? And I want to know what your thoughts are and what weapons should or should not be banned. Give her your take on those. And we'll go ahead and start with Mike.
Well, of course, you always want to start with me. You know what? I'm going to defer this to the gun expert in the podcast here tonight. And I use the term expert loosely. Nick, you probably know.
Hobbyist.
Okay, hobbyist. Okay, enthusiast. I don't.
Enthusiast does work.
So, Nick, let's hear, since you probably got one of the most opinionated parts of this. Let's go ahead and hear what you think first.
All right. To answer his question, what guns I think should be banned, I don't think a firearm should ever be banned. As far as the legislation that's sitting in the House, currently. The assault weapons ban has been shelved because there's just been an outpouring of support against it. The only thing I could see passing is possibly the quote-unquote high-capacity magazine ban.
Mm-hmm.
I really don't think that's something that's going to happen. But it's the most plausible out of all the scenarios.
This is America, and we love our guns.
Yeah, well, the whole
That's how the South thinks about it.
goddamn thing should
Texas was gonna reform from the Union over it.
Oh,
They
well,
were-
a lot of states have decided that. I mean, it's just like a small population that is actually of those states that are actually deciding that.
You also have states like Texas where all the sheriffs of Texas said they would not enforce the law. And if
Yeah.
they're not going to enforce the law is not going to get enforced in Texas. Yeah, the federal government has no power to come into a state. If there's a federal law passed, it does have priority over a state's law, but a state can just refuse to enforce it. It's the right of the state to do so.
Right.
If you guys were watching the State of the Union address when President Obama made his remarks about the trying to ban things, if you watch the side of the Republicans, no one stood up and clapped, and all the Democrats stood up and was applauding.
All the Democrats are sucking
thought that
his
was-
dick is what they're doing.
Yeah.
Oh my God, President Obama!
Okay, what do you think on this topic, Cody?
So I think, well, obviously, I'm siding with Nick. I didn't watch the State of the Union. I don't know a whole lot on the certain gun bans and whatnot, but I would think that at least towards the public, I think that maybe major assault weapons could possibly be not open to the public, possibly, but honestly, I'm completely against them. I think everybody has the right to defend themselves and the right.
Well,
to
see,
bear
the thing about that's a good point. The thing about the assault rifles is you can go get a Browning hunting rifle and turn it fully auto. And the only difference between the assault rifle and the Browning hunting rifle is the way it looks. Oh, this one's got a weird looking magazine that's all
Actually-
spelled out.
Actually, for me to come in here and lay down some facts here, the definition of an assault rifle is one that has a select fire capability,
Mm-hmm.
which means even my AR-15 that's chambered in 22, even that is not an assault rifle. Just because it looks like one, it doesn't go automatic. It doesn't go 3-round burst.
Mm-hmm.
It has none of those features, so therefore it's just a rifle. It's just a semi-automatic rifle.
Exactly. I have to really agree with Cody here. I enjoy guns. I like firing guns, and it's just there's no need really for a civilian to have like a fully automatic weapon, but at the same time, it is their right. I can't remember who made this quote. Nick, you could fact check me real quick, but I've heard this quote was made during the World War II era, and when Japan attacked Pearl
Yes,
Harbor.
it was the Japanese Army's supreme admiral.
Okay.
The exact quote, the most misquote is behind every tree, but his statement was they had a clear route to invade the continental United States. They would have been unopposed after what they'd done at Pearl Harbor, and they could have just rained hell down on us. His statement was to invade the United States would be suicide because there'd be a gun trained on us behind every blade of grass.
Yes.
Yes, and it's true. You think about it, if any country landed right now and American was like, "We're gonna kill you," we'd be like, "No, we're gonna kill you and we're gonna fuck your corpse because welcome to the South."
There's also what was called the Dick Act of I can't remember, it was 1913 or 1903 or something like that. What it stated was that if you're a male between the age of 18 and 45, you're officially a member of the United States militia, and that puts you under the terms of well-regulated militia.
My brother is a leader of local militia out here.
There was also a ruling in I believe it was 56. The ruling stated that if the United States military uses a firearm, we as a civilian have a right to possess that firearm.
Yeah. To match the civilian side should match the military.
You can own a fully automatic firearm in the United States. It just takes a 6-month background check, a $200 tax stamp, and the rifle or submachine gun you're usually buying costs anywhere from $8,000 to $60,000. It's your money. If you're willing to put that money forth, I mean, more power to you. If you've ever fired an automatic weapon, you are going to find out quickly that they are
But
not
did you
meant.
know
Automatic
Did you
weapons
know
are
that-
the most inaccurate thing I have ever seen in my life.
Did you know that there's a law that's by the Department of Tobacco Firearms that every American by law is allowed to make one rifle every year?
Make one rifle?
Yeah, make
Yeah.
one rifle every year.
Greg, you have been very quiet. You have an opinion?
Yeah, basically I pretty much agree with everyone here. I never thought that banning guns is like a legitimate course of action because that always leads to such like a slippery slope, like what kind of guns should be banned, what types of ammo should be banned, and eventually like it just spirals out of control, and then there's just like this huge clusterfuck of like nobody being able to agree, and it just like the only people who really like suffer aren't the criminals, but like the people who like actually own guns lawfully in that. So because I
go.
mean, even if you ban guns, I mean,
The
it's
bad guys
like
will still get
saying,
'em.
yeah, it's like
Well, yeah.
it's like saying, oh well, pot's banned, nobody buys that illegally.
It's
But
like
here's the thing. The Second Amendment states that that right shall not be infringed,
Yeah.
and there's a Ninth Amendment. The Ninth Amendment also says that basically says that the Bill of Rights shall not be infringed as well. But I mean, the government disregards both, anyways. So
To quote Bill Hicks, all governments are lying assholes.
well, of course. I mean, there is a certain level of deceiving or deceit that a government does, and sometimes it's
It's for the protection of the people.
Yeah, I was.
Exactly.
Let's spin off of the gun topic. Here's one for you. On the current topic we're on of the government hides specific things from you for for your protection. One of the biggest ones that people always love to bring up, the government hides from us, is the existence of aliens. Okay, they're like, we got them.
We're getting conspiracy theory shit right
Area
now.
Now
51.
listen, we got them some bitches and they took me up in their ship and they done fucked me in my asshole with some kind of metal rod.
No, that was cousin Jim Bob.
Well, it was probably their cousin down the street that snuck in the middle of the night and fucked them in their ass or whatever.
With
But-
lights and fucking special effects.
They had like one of them toy lightsabers or something from like the 70s and they're just fucking just ramming it in there. And they're like, I got abducted by aliens 17 times. And you notice that all the people that are always saying they got abducted by aliens normally have less teeth than what I do. And
That's very few.
that is very few teeth. I mean, very few teeth. I don't have very many. Meth is a hell.
Well, that's not entirely true. I mean, that is the stereotype, but
it is
I
completely
mean, if you
true.
added up all the fragments, Mike, you would have more teeth.
It is completely true. Meth is one hell of a drug.
Oh.
Cocaine's one hell of a drug.
No, anyways, away from meth. No, but
We don't smoke marijuana in the SCOBY.
thanks.
Fucking Earl Haggard.
That was the most intelligible input that this
That was
conversation has.
that was beautiful. That was beautiful.
Absolutely beautiful. But no, do you think the government actually does hide things like the existence?
Oh, sure they do. They hide
Yeah.
all kinds of shit from us. They don't want you to know half the shit that they do.
The news has been well, I shouldn't say censored. There's been the freedom of speech, I believe, is a World War II, where it was decided that the freedom of speech is can be revoked. Anybody who during World War II, anybody who wrote an article speaking out against the war, it was instantly not published.
Bring Cody back in the conversation. I haven't heard from him for a while. Do you think Cody? Do you think the government hides shit from us to protect us?
Oh, protect us. Honestly, I think they're out to get us. I think the whole like bird flu and all that shit, that's probably generated by them.
Amen,
Well,
brother.
yeah.
I'm right there with you on that one.
They're like,
feeling a little-
H1N1.
I'm feeling a
They're
little
waiting
weird
to
here.
stop
This is
the-
feeling like conspiracy theory hour now.
All right, hang on now. Let's Cody.
Oh,
go ahead.
don't get me started, because I have gone down that road.
Let's let Cody go ahead.
there's not much else to say. I mean, the epidemics happen, and I mean, I don't know. It just doesn't seem very plausible. I guess it just seems like that they would be up to something. They don't really.
They're always up to something.
I feel that a lot of it has to do with the current state of our medical situation and how we're actually engineering these plagues. Not like someone's in a lab like, oh, I'm gonna make this thing super fucking killing.
And then they're in there jerking off and they
Well,
accidentally jizz in it.
they're jerking off in
One word,
in a culture of
research
avian
chemicals.
flu. But I think what a lot of it has to do is with a lot of the vaccines and stuff we're making, we're using vaccines a lot more often now. By having our bodies already build up these resistances artificially, we're forcing these viruses, like it's some thinking being, to that's a horrible way of saying it, but to escalate. We're artificially causing them to escalate.
Like to adapt, like kind of like
Yes,
evolve.
we're artificially causing them to adapt, but the virus is like, well,
Yeah,
for
you
me
guys
to
on bed?
survive, I'm gonna have to go
Okay.
fucking ape shit in here.
Ah.
So what's the worst I can do?
I
Okay.
got my blanket.
Ryan's just going to have a conversation outside the podcast. I think at this
Mm-hmm.
point in time, 30 Minutes of Mayhem has completely spun out of control and turned into mayhem. So before we wrap this episode, I want to thank our two guests, and I want to give our two guests an opportunity to soapbox. I know it's on the spot, but Scott, you were the first guest. If you have any topic on anything that you would love to rant on or say your opinion on, we'll give people the opportunity to reply to you. But Scott, anything at all that you would love to get off your chest, rant about, say your opinion on, something
You'd
that
like to
pisses
get
you
my
off?
nuts off your chest.
So much I want to rant about, but I guess the current thing that can come to mind is just today's generation. I mean, it sounds like I'm fucking old here, but I mean,
I turned
well, I'm
25.
looking at my own generation, and it's just, I can't even. It's despicable, because it's just like everyone wants to be a fucking child now. They just want to stay children. And
Bullshit. They want to say children have children.
They want to be a child and have a child.
Yeah, I
That's
mean,
like, oh, I want to have a cute baby. It's all cute. It's like I'm having a live doll.
You know, it's like, oh my god, I got my period. I can have a kid. Now I gotta find somebody to fuck.
Basically,
You know, that
but it's not just that. It's just like the shit you see on the internet. I mean,
no, that's just I agree with you.
I
but
think
like,
I think that they should take that stupid show off MTV, a Teen Mom
Moms.
or whatever.
Teen-
I think
Oh,
that
God.
I think that
16 and
makes
pregnant?
people look like 16 and pregnant. I think that makes people look at
They need
it's
to
cool
get
to
the
have
one
a
off
kid.
CMT, inbred and pregnant.
if aliens came to our planet and saw that shit, they'd be like, "Nope, fuck this. We're
They
leaving."
turn right around.
They would-
turn,
Honestly,
wouldn't
I
leave.
think
turn right
aliens are
around.
waiting for us to evolve enough.
They wouldn't
where
leave
we're
at all.
not like that.
No, we're de-evolving.
They probably kill them. Be like, you know what? Fuck you guys.
No, they'd be like, we're gonna take over this planet because everyone here is a dumbass.
Exactly.
But
Oh my God.
Maybe that's the plan of the government.
in an attempt to not do this all night long, Cody, I know that from knowing you personally, I know you have a lot of strong feelings on a lot of things. If you could pick one thing to soapbox right now about, you got anything?
It's more of it's more of a moral standard from my point. It's not really anything like related with law, but if you've known me for it's been about a year now,
Yeah.
and you know that I was a strong Christian at one point, and now after after the years passed, I've gone to church and experienced a lot of different things. I just realized that the church is corrupt as fuck,
Oh yes, most definitely.
and
I'm sorry.
God.
His eyes are open. Praise the Lord.
Amen to that one.
I mean, I'm still like, it's not like I don't believe in the divine because you can't prove or disprove anything. So
Yeah.
I'm pretty much just on the fence about whatever, and I'm just gonna, I like being a kind-hearted person. So I mean, I don't.
That's all
live
it really
that-
matters is if you're a kind-hearted person and you do the best to live your life to the best of your abilities. I do believe
Yeah.
that you're a good person.
I think.
Yeah.
I mean,
Speaking the truth there.
this is coming from an atheist. I think if you're reading the Bible and not going to church and trying to make sense of it yourself, you are doing a lot more than what that church is doing for you.
Exactly.
I think
Yeah,
I think that church is a good thing to have because it keeps certain.
It explains
keeps us in
everything to
line.
Ryan.
No, it keeps us in line. It keeps if you look at third world countries and there are other religions out there, they're completely nuts. I think that religion, the church.
Here he goes back about the
keeps
Muslims.
them on. No. I never said anything about just that.
He's like them infidels over there. But no, I
Durham infidels.
I get what you're saying, Ryan, but look at it this way. Okay, you're saying like their churches over there are crazy, right? You know, they're sitting over there thinking the same thing about ours. Cody, I'd like to thank you for coming on. You're more than welcome to come back. Scott,
Yes.
I would like to thank you for coming on also. And this is the end of this episode of 30 Minutes of Mayhem. I have been your host. My name is Michael Mayhew, and I have been here with my co-hosts.
Nick.
Dale.
Greg.
Yeah, the cat from LA.
Later, fellas.